Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to talk about reading goals. How did my 2018 reading goals go? What are my reading goals for 2019? We're going to talk about it in today's video. So let's get started. Okay, so in 2018 I had some pretty basic goals and a couple that were a little lofty, and there were a couple that I fell short on and a couple that I totally kicked ass on. So it was all over the place. My first goal was to read 45 books, and I crushed that goal. I gotta look and see how many books. As of today, which is, what is today? December 27th, I have read 75 books, but I'm hoping to finish 3 more before the end of the month. So, yes, crushed it. Definitely, that was like my personal record. I had a really good number this year. And then my next goal was to read more classics, at least 3. And I did that, but I kind of cheated. And I say that because I read 4 classics, but 3 of them were all part of the same series. So I feel like I kind of cheated. I read Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, and then I read the first 3 books in the Anne of Green Gables series. So I read Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea, and Anne of the Island. So I feel like those should actually be grouped together, and I really only read like 2 classics. Is the kind of the way I'm feeling, but I'm like, well, okay. I definitely could have read more classics, basically. I also wanted to read more of the books that I own, and I kind of looked back and counted, and I read, of the 75 books that I have read this year, 48 of them came off of my shelves, which is more than half, which is pretty good, you know? That's pretty good. And I started the year with 3 like unread books on shelves of unread books, and I'm still at 3. So it hasn't grown, but it hasn't gotten smaller either, which I guess is a win, because it didn't get any worse, I guess. So that's a good thing. I had wanted to, in 2018, reread Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger and The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, and I didn't read either one of them. Bummer. Catcher in the Rye, I had wanted to read it during like back to school time, and I was just reading other things and it just didn't happen. And then with The Jungle, I tried listening to the audiobook because I thought that would just be a good way to revisit the book, and I could not stand the narration. I lasted like 20 minutes and was like, I can't do this. So yeah, so that didn't happen. I definitely would like to still reread those eventually, but it just didn't happen this year. So womp womp, failed on that one. I also had wanted to read the entire Anne of Green Gables series, which is 8 books, and I only read the first 3, like I mentioned previously, so didn't quite meet that one, but that is a 2019 goal that I have, is to finish that series. I had also wanted to read Gone with the Wind. That was like my big book that I was going to tackle in 2018, and I did it. I read it, I loved it, it was fabulous, and I'm so glad that I decided to finally pick that one up and read it. I also wanted to, sorry, I'm looking at my notebook here. I also wanted to upload more videos, and I think I started out the year pretty strong. I was uploading about 2 videos a week, which is a lot for me. And I did it for the first couple of months, and then it just kind of petered out, and it was more that I just didn't feel like I had quality videos to make, and I didn't want to just put out 2 videos so that I could say I put up 2 videos a week. I wanted to put out like quality videos that you guys would actually want to watch. So I was back down to like 1 a week, which is fine. I'm cool with that. That works for me. I will still try to upload, you know, if I can, if I have the content and I make the content that I want, I will try to upload more in 2019. But to me, it's all about like quantity, or wow, it's all about quality over quantity. So we'll see how that goes. And then my last kind of 2018 goal had been to read 4 or 5 Stephen King books, and I read 4, one of which was a reread. I reread The Gunslinger, which is the first book in the Dark Tower series, and then the other 3 that I read Sleeping Beauties, I read The Outsider, and Rose Madder. So I pretty much met that goal, so I'm happy there. Okay, so there were some things in 2018 that I didn't quite make happen that I want to rectify in 2019, starting with finishing the Anne of Green Gables series. So So I have 5 more books to read, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 5 more books to read to complete that series, and that is going to be my first goal of 2019 is to finish that series. I've also decided to up my reading goal. It was 45 books in 2018, and I want it to be 50 books in 2019, because I think the last couple of years I have reached and surpassed 50, and so I think that 50 is still a reasonable goal, one that won't be too much to demand of myself, but still a pretty great number. I mean, to read 50 books in 1 year is pretty awesome, so I think that's just a good number to have. It's a good kind of happy place for me to be at. And then I still want to keep that classics challenge going. I want to try to read 3 classics in 2019, but this time I want to try to diversify myself. Not cheat and read 3 books. So for example, I'm going to read Anne of Green Gables. Those books are not going to count towards my read 3 classics, because that's just not fair. Even though I don't know who's making the rules. I'm making the rules, I can break them, but no, I'm not going to do that. My 3 classics that I want to read are going to be outside of Anne of Green Gables, and I want them to be from different authors, maybe even different time periods. I just want to like diversify there. So yes. I also want to, again, read 4 Stephen King books this year, which is a good goal because I am constantly always trying to work my way through his books. He has so many and I'm so behind. But I figure he usually has 2 books come out every year. So if I read the 2 new books plus 2 of his, backlisted ones, then that's good. That's pretty good. Again, want to keep that goal of trying to read from my shelves, which is a challenge because I love going to the library. And a lot of times, even for like my book clubs and stuff that I'm in, a lot of times I don't like to read, I don't like to buy the books for book club. I like to utilize the library. So I'm still going to try to keep that in check. I am still going to go to the library because I have to. I just have to. But if I can do like I did this year and make at least half of the books I read come from these shelves, that's pretty great. And I think it's also a good goal to have to maybe not let the TBR pile grow any more than it is right now. I think if I had to count, I want to say I have about 80 books here that are unread. So if by the end of 2019 I'm still about there, I think that's fine. As long as I don't let it get higher than that, then that's good. And then I do have a couple of books that I want to reread in 2019. The first one for sure I want to reread, but it'll be towards the end of the year, like around Christmas. I want to reread Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. It's been a couple of years since I've read this one. I think the last time I read this was in like 2012 or 2013, so it's been a bit. And I want to revisit it, and I always like to reread it around Christmas time. I just do. So this will be an end of the year reread for me. And then the other 2, one I'm definitely sure of, the other one I'm not sure. Like I've been kind of wanting to reread it, but I just don't know. But the one that I definitely want to reread is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Gosh, I was a teenager when I read this the first time, and I really liked it. And I actually really like the movie too. It's really good. So I want to just revisit it and see how I feel about it now that I am a grown-up. And then the one that is kind of a maybe for me, I read it in high school, my senior year, and I did like this big book report and everything on it. And I really enjoyed it. I like loved it. And I consider it one of my favorite books. But I'm like not sure if I want to reread it just yet. I just don't know. But that book is 1984 by George Orwell. Because I feel like it's a good time to visit this again, because of like the political climate here in the States, the way it's been for the past 2 years. I feel like this is a good time, but I'm also kind of scared to read this one again because I fear that I'm not going to like it as much. I don't know. So we'll see. This one's a maybe. I don't know if I'm ready for this one yet. We'll see. And then another big challenge of mine that I want to tackle is to read more ebooks. I have a Kindle. I love my Kindle. I have a ton of books on my Kindle. A ton. And I've only, in 2018, I read 1 ebook. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, why? So I'm making it, and I'm making the goal kind of small, but I'm making it a goal to read at least 3 books off of my Kindle this year, because 3 would be an improvement from 2018. So yes, I have a lot of good books on there. Like, I need to read them. I think it's because I'm so focused on what's here right in front of my face that I forget what I have on my Kindle. So yes, that's a big goal of mine. I want to try to read more of my ebooks. Starting last year in 2018, I decided I want to pick a big book to read every year. So last year, 2018, I chose Gone with the Wind, read it, loved it. So this year's big book is going to be The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I've heard fantastic things about this book, and I've heard that despite its length, it is a very engaging read and one that you don't want to put down. So I hope so, because it's a long one. It's like 900 and it's close to 1,000 pages, so it's a big one. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun book to tackle. And yeah, I just can't wait to dive in. And then finally, for my goals for 2019, I thought about doing like a TBR jar like a lot of people do, where, you know, you put all your unread books in a jar and then like every month you pick one. But I decided to do something a little different, and I got the idea from another booktuber, from Bree over at Bree Reads Books. I just watched her video, I want to say this morning, and she's doing this really cool thing where for her, like, jar challenge, she's not putting books in there, but she's putting in like other challenges, like to read books from a certain author, or, you know, things like that, kind of making her own kind of bookish challenge for the year. And I thought that was such a cool idea and such a fun way to kind of shake up your TBR, and not just putting book titles in a jar and picking them, but to kind of pick where it's still like a broad enough category when you pick it that you have options, so you don't feel like, oh, I have to read this book. It's like, you know, you pick out, you know, read a classic, and you're like, okay, well, I've got a couple classics here, which one do I want to read? I think that's just kind of a funner way to do it. So that is what I am going to do for 2019. I have this cute little jar here, and I put 12 challenges in here, but I did double up on some of them because they in a way are going to help me meet some of the goals I've already talked about. So for example, I put in here, I think 3 different times to read a Kindle book, read a book on my Kindle. I put in here to read a Stephen King book. I think I put that in there twice. What else did I put in? Oh, I put in to read a Nocturnal Reader's Box book, because I have quite a few of those on my shelves here unread. I want to say I have like 6 of them or something, and I kind of want to work my way through. I kind of want to work my way through those. So I put that in there. I put in there to like read a book by a female author, just kind of challenges like that I think will kind of make it fun. So I will be doing that. I will be picking one each month out of the jar and doing that challenge. So I think it's going to kind of make my TBRs kind of exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really fun. So thank you, Bree, if you're watching this video, for having such a great idea, because I totally stole it from you. But yeah, so those are all of my goals for 2019. I'm really looking forward to the reading year. I always love like the new year, because it's like a fresh start, and you know, you just start thinking about all the books that you want to read, all the things that you want to do, and it's exciting. It's exciting. So please let me know down below what some of your goals are for the year, if there's like a certain number of books you want to read, or if there's something you want to do in terms of like shaking things up with genres or authors or anything. Like, please let me know, because I really want to hear what everybody is planning to do for the new year. But other than that, that's all I have. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful New Year's, and that 2019 treats you well, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.